वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। शृण्वतां स्वकथा कृष्ण पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तन हृदयन्तस्थो ह्यभद्राणि विदनोति सुहृत्सताम्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. Reading from text number 10. तेषु तद्रिक्तहारेषु गृहकोशानुजीविषु निरूढेन ममत्वेन विषयेषु अन्नबध्यता. Synonyms. Teshu, to them, tadrikta hareshu, the plunderers of his money, griha, home, kosha, treasury, anujivishu, to the followers, nirudena, deep-rooted, mamatvena, by attachment, vishayeshu, to sense objects, anvabhadyatha, become bound. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Though these sons and grandsons were virtually plunderers of King Puranjana's riches, including his home, treasury, servants, secretaries, and all other paraphernalia. Puranjana's attachment for these things was very deep-rooted. Purport. In this verse, the word Rikta Hareshu, meaning plunderers of wealth, is very significant. One's sons, grandsons, and other descendants are ultimately plunderers of one's accumulated wealth. There are many celebrated businessmen and industrialists who produce great wealth and are highly praised by the public, but all their money is ultimately plundered by their sons and grandsons. In India, we have actually seen one industrialist who, like King Puranjana, was very much sexually inclined and had a half dozen wives. Each of these wives had a separate establishment that necessitated the expenditure of several thousand rupees. When I was engaged in talking with him, I saw that he was very busy trying to secure money so that all his sons and daughters would get at least 500,000 rupees each. Thus, such industrialists and businessmen or karmis are called mudas in the Shastras. They work very hard, accumulate money, and are satisfied to see that this money is plundered by their sons and grandsons. Such people do not want to return their wealth to its actual owner, as stated in Bhagavad Gita 5.29, Bhoktaram Yajñatapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. The real proprietor of all wealth is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the actual enjoyer. The so-called earners of money are those who simply know tricks by which they can take away God's money under the guise of business and industry. After accumulating this money, they enjoy seeing it plundered by their sons and grandsons. This is the materialistic way of life. In materialistic life, one is encaged within the body and deluded by false egoism. Thus, one thinks, I am this body, I am human being, I am an American, I am an Indian. This bodily conception is due to false ego. Being deluded by false ego, One identifies himself with a certain family, nation, or community. In this way, one's attachment for the material world grows deeper and deeper. Thus, it becomes very difficult for the living entity to extricate himself from his entanglement. Such people are graphically described in 16th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, text 13 to 15, in this way. Idam adya maya labdham, imam prapsye manortham, idam asti idam api me, bhavishyati punardanam, aso maya hata shatrur, anishe chaparanapi, ishwaroham ham bogi, siddhoham balavan sukhi, adyo अभिजनवानस्मि को अन्योस्ति सदृशो मया यक्षे दास्यामि मोद्दिश्य इति अज्ञान विमोहिताः. The demonic person thinks, so much wealth do I have today, and I will gain more according to my schemes. So much is mine now, and it will increase in future more and more. He is my enemy, and I have killed him, and my other enemy will also be killed. I am the Lord of everything. I am the enjoyer. I am perfect, powerful, and happy. I am the richest man surrounded by aristocratic relatives. There is none so powerful and happy as I am. I shall perform sacrifices. I shall give some charity, and thus I shall rejoice. In this way, such persons are deluded by ignorance. In this way, people engage in various laborious activities, and their attachment for body, home, family, nation, community becomes more and more deep rooted. End of purport. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I seek the blessings of all assembled Vaishnavas. Please forgive me any misinterpretation. So King Puranjan had many sons and grandsons, and they became virtually the plunderers of his wealth. King Puranjan had deep-rooted attachment for all this wealth. So uh, accumulation of wealth, or it is called Atyahara by Srila Rupa Goswami in Nectar of Instruction, is an obstacle in the path of bhakti. Atyahara means eating more than necessary or accumulating wealth more than necessary. Just like eating more than necessary is bad for health, similarly, accumulating wealth more than necessary is it destroys bhakti. Now, when one becomes very rich, for example, a businessman becomes very rich, then his competitor businessman naturally becomes his enemy, and he's always thinking about devising plans how to finish off his opponent's business, and the opponent is also thinking the same thing. So in this way, he's always in anxiety how to protect his wealth. And with the possession of wealth, one becomes very uh, proud, pride. So these are all, it develops demoniac qualities. Prabhupada in the chapter, in the purport is quoted, some of those demoniac qualities mentioned in Bhagavad Gita chapter 16, titled as Divine and Demoniac Qualities. So he thinks, Idam adya maya labdam. I have possessed this much wealth. Idam adya maya labdam imam prapse manoratam. I accumulated all this wealth by my mental strength. And in future, I will accumulate more wealth. Bhavishyati Punardanam. Then he thinks, uh, my enemies are destroyed. Aso maya hata shadru. My shadru, my enemies, I have finished off my enemies. Hanishe chaparanam. Whoever remaining, they will be finished off. And then he thinks, Ishwaroham, I am the controller, I am Balawan, I am the strongest, and Siddhoham, I am perfect. In this way, when he develops all these demoniac qualities. But in Bhagavatam, 12th canto, second chapter describes about the symptoms of Kali Yuga. There it is says, Vittameva Kalavnanam Janmachara Gunodaya. In this age of Kali Yuga, Vitta, the wealth is the only measuring stick. To high birth, good qualities, uh, good behavior. Uh, and Dharma, Nyaya, all these justice, the rules and regulations are applied based on the strength. For accumulation of wealth, one must over endeavor. So many plans he has to make, he has to execute. Then only he will become a very rich man. So the over endeavor is called prayasa. This is another obstacle in the path of bhakti, prayasa. Atyahara prayasascha, Rupa Goswami says. These are detrimental to bhakti. Now, Bhagavatam says one must live a simple life and high thinking. Kamasya na indriya pritir. Life's desire should never be directed towards sense pleasures. And Lavo Jiveta Yavata, Prabhupada translates as simple living and high thinking. And what is that high thinking? Jivasya Tattva Jijnasa. The life thinking or the life's desires should be directed to search for that absolute truth. There should not be any other goals. Now, King Parikshit also had all the riches. He was a king, emperor of this whole world. But in a moment's notice, he gave up all this attachment. And it is described in Bhagavatam what are these attachment? Atma Jaya Sutagar. The first attachment is our own body, Atma. Very difficult to give up the attachment, which eventually forcefully you have to give up. Then Jaya means wife, Suta, attachment to children, Agara, Agar means palace. In the case of Parikshit Maharaj, it is palace. In our case, it's the sweet home. Then Pashu means for Parikshit Maharaj, it is elephants and horses. In our cases, cats and dogs, the pets, attachment to these. Dravina means the treasury or bank balance. Bandhushu, relatives and friends. Then Rajya, kingdom for Parikshit Maharaj, or in our case, land or properties. In this way, we have developed deep-rooted attachment to these temporary objects, which is the cause of bondage. So, by engaging in bhakti, by our strong attachment to the lotus feet of Sri Radha and Krishna, all other attachment will gradually diminish. Uh, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya says uh, that the Vairagya Vidya Nija Bhakti Yoga, detachment to material temporary objects, is the indication that one is making progress in bhakti. I'll stop here. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Please